Yeah, hello everyone. Okay, I'm Carlotta Goulden. I'm here to talk about something I'm very passionate about. These are some other things that I'm passionate about. It's just a shameless use of a slide. Some things I could have spoken about, Manchester City, David Bowie, but actually I'm going to speak about my passion for social reform and drug policy reform. You see, 16 years ago I was a drugs mule and I went to prison in LA, and since then I've been kind of obsessed with the world of criminal justice and the world of drug policy reform, and I've been working with prisoners and working with recovering addicts. The last talk I gave was all about how bad food is in prison. I'm a little bit obsessed about what a waste of time prison is for the prisoners, you know, how the UK is failing in changing around their lives, and they're feeding them loads of crap and feeding them loads of carbs and keeping them all stuffed and lazy and fat. So this talk is more about drug policy reform and the war on drugs. I just hate even the phrase, the war on drugs. It just doesn't make any sense. You know, as a global policy, it's so wrong. We know it's wrong. There's loads of, you know, literature out there about how wrong it is. I'm speaking in defence of drug mules. I know that's quite a random position to take, but obviously it's mine. When the poor Peru 2 were all in the papers, that's when my story kind of came out, and I thought it was really, really bad the way they were dealt with in the press, and I haven't had a sort of platform to talk about how I was dealt with in the press, because any sort of run-in with journalists has always been really unsatisfactory. They're always bloody cunts at the end of the day, and they take your words and they twist them and everything comes out wrong. And so, you know, I just need a little sort of soapbox or something. You know, I want to sort of speak about this thing because I feel passionate about it, and I thought going to the press I'd have a chance to say something, but it never turns out how you think, and you know, I don't know what to do, and I sign petitions and I campaign against stuff, but it's never quite enough. So in terms of drugs, you know, we all take drugs, we need drugs, just the words drug, you know, war on drugs, it's a good band, by the way, it doesn't make any sense, you know, without antibiotics, without aspirin, without penicillin, you know, we'd all be dead. In prisons now, it's legal highs that are a big problem. Now, legal highs to me means cups of coffee and white wine and all the things that we can buy over the counter. But in prisons, it's these synthetic legal highs you get in packets. Now, people are taking them because they're bored. It's just, that's a microcosm of society, apparently, which is what prison is. You know, everything happens more intensely in prison and quicker. And so the prisoners are bored, so they take drugs because there's nothing else for them to do. You know, it's another failed opportunity. I work with prisoners who try to get into prison because they need a bit of time out from their lives, which is so chaotic and so rubbish. I mean, what sad indictment on society is that, when the best option is to actually get yourself in prison? These are some pictures of prison in Norway. Norway is like the mecca for criminal justice and prison reform, and here they, you know, they actually concentrate on making these prisoners' lives better. They teach them how to live more, you know, normally, and the results speak for themselves. You can see that 8% reoffending rate in Norway, 60% reoffending rate in the UK. So one would think that the UK authorities would listen, but no, actually things are getting worse over the last few years in prisons. I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated. I've got loads to say on the issue. You know, when I did this, I lasted 10 minutes this afternoon, so I'm cramming it all into 5 minutes. Maybe I should chain myself to some railings. So, you know, I'm a sort of frustrated activist. But on a lighter note, my prison experience was in America, and people always ask me, was it like Orange is the New Black? And actually it was quite like that, you know, and I'm always gutted. Well, in fact, I was gutted when it came out, because that was the series I was going to write. And then Crims came out. And it's all about the humour. I'm not going to have time to talk about every humorous story. You're going to have to use your imaginations about what prisoners do with all these objects. But the prisoner I was with made hooch out of the bread rolls. When I was in prison, we played a lot of Scrabble. I got books sent in every week, which is another thing the UK authorities, of course, trying to ban. These terrible things with, they'd make like a rope out of dental floss and then pass Snickers bars to the male prisoners, which they've done awful things to on a line. So I've tried to address these issues through politics, and I've actually been to some local political meetings, and it was just like awful. I don't know if you've ever been to local politics meetings. Everyone's over 60 and they're talking about how many bins there are in the park, and it wasn't a chance for me to get what I'm passionate about. So, you know, I hope that I can get a little bit political. Maybe I'll talk about the hacienda next time, which I can also talk, you know, for hours and hours about, because that's where I grew up, or maybe David Bowie. But I think being up here and talking to you is a little bit like therapy for me. You know, sometimes I do cryptic status updates, sometimes I take arty photos. But it's nice just to come and rant to you, and I think, you know, it's been emotional, so thank you for listening.